So I've been doing a lot of thinking about like my divorce and all of that and just like how everything played out and um I must say I feel a bit better now. Um Mostly because of like two or three different things. One the main thing is to learn something out of it. So one of the first things that I definitely had to learn throughout all of this, in order to not make that mistake again, was to definitely speak up for myself. Like, if I have a boundary, stand on that boundary. I find that a lot of times I'm a little too nice and make too many excuses for people when they're not even giving an excuse. And it's like, if they don't feel the need to give an excuse, why are you making one up for them? They probably meant what they did and meant what they said. Um, So definitely, like, if I don't like that, then I just don't like that and just speak up. And also, people are not mind readers. So if you just keep being compliant, you're going to end up in a bad situation, or a situation that maybe you don't have control over, because too much compliancy can definitely equal control of you by another person. Um, the other thing that I also figured out too was, if someone did it in this consistent thing that seems to be difficult to change, then that's exactly who they are. I used to hear that saying, like, when someone shows you who they are, believe it the first, particularly the first time. And I guess the issue with me was trying to figure out who he was, because he could be this person and then he could be that person. And that kind of stretch things out in the relationship and marriage, because you think you're fighting for the good person, but the good person was the fake person. He wasn't struggling because he did something wrong, he was struggling to try to do something good. It wasn't what you thought. And so I've had to learn and be real with myself that it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. If you've ever done like a teamwork project or anything like that, it's not that difficult when people are working together. Like the comedian said, to move a couch by yourself is hard. To move it with someone else is easy. It's not that hard. So if you keep running into the issue where this person just doesn't, it just can't keep being an issue if that person does not want it to be an issue. And if they're genuinely working on it, it may still be an issue, but it will gradually become less and less of an issue. And we all know what it looks like when someone's really trying hard. When someone's really like hustling and trying to fix something in themselves, you know what it looks like, because they're immersed in it. They're obsessed with it. Like they're serious about it. We know what that looks like. We just lie to ourselves like we don't know what it looks like. But definitely, like, if it just keeps being an issue, especially if it's like a high risk issue, like someone hitting or yelling or throwing things, like violent stuff, no, that should not be something that even happens once, but it certainly shouldn't be something that's regular and they keep circling back around to. It means they're comfortable with it. It's not, especially if it's not hurting them. If it's not hurting them and it's only hurting you, and they can't seem to break that pattern or get away with it, they keep circling back around with it, it probably means that they're just playing you. They're playing you. So what's happening is, like I said, with my ex-husband, he wasn't struggling with the bad thing. He was struggling to be good, because what would happen is he would do something bad, but then all of a sudden be really, really nice, and you would think the nice was the real thing, but then eventually it never felt, cycle back around, and now he's doing something really bad. The truth is, if that bad keeps popping up, there's probably a pattern going on, and even if there's not, that person wants it to be there. Like, they just want it to be there. That's who they are. That's who they are. Because, and then you gotta think about it too. Like, I'm a loving person. I'm not perfect, but I'm a loving person, and it's just some stuff I just will not do. And we all have certain stuff. Most of us all have certain stuff that we just will not do. So if this person is able to do something, especially if it's incredibly bad or incredibly violent, then that's just who they are. Like, because that boundary within themselves does not exist. Because there's just some stuff I'm just not willing to do. It's called integrity. I'm just not willing to put myself in that predicament. I am not perfect, but there's just some stuff, especially in a marriage, I'm not going there. So for your partner to be doing it, that's who they are. Quit lying to yourself. That's who they are. Denial is terrible, and it's who they are. So the other thing that I came to terms with as well is that I am not guilty for what he does. However, I am guilty for what I allowed, and that's on me, because it's easy to say, oh, this person was a bad person and they did this, but then you have to question what was going on that allowed this. So yes, I was terribly sick, and I get that, so I give myself some grace there, but I don't ignore the fact either that choices were made and I paid for them. Point blank period. Like, I paid for them and I should have done better. And multiple points, I just should have done better. I should have picked something better. And if I really genuinely could not, because I was just constantly going to the hospital at the time, and I was really sick, and I was on these medications, and I was passing out a lot. Okay, I guess it's just going to be what it's going to be. But for other instances, no, I definitely should have spoke up in my healthier moments, and I definitely should have tried to come up with something, just something to even out something. What that something is, I don't know, but just going forward, I'm definitely going to be more careful about what I allow, especially because when you go through the divorce process and stuff, and you find out how much stuff is technically not illegal, especially if you cannot prove it. But just in general, a lot of stuff is not illegal like you think. So while you're suffering in silence, letting this person maybe be verbally abusive to you, a lot of people don't care about that form of abuse, emotional abuse, all that stuff. They almost treat it like a fairy tale, like it's on you, compared to someone actually touching you. If it doesn't have to do with money or someone like actually physically coming into contact with you, a lot of them do not care. Like, it's not illegal to lie. It's not illegal to like mislead people until it crosses over into like, did it cost you something? Did somebody get hurt? Like, like fraud and stuff like that. But just like as a relationship, you're not really gonna get anything out of that. So you might as well just speak up for yourself. You don't have to be violent or ugly or loud or all this other crap. But you don't just have to sit there and like think that one day somehow this will make this person look bad. Maybe in character, maybe as a like it makes more stuff you say believable, but you're not really gonna get anything out of just sitting there suffering quietly. You might as well just say what you have to say, leave if you have to leave, whatever. But I don't know, I was just entirely too compliant, thinking it would get better. It doesn't. It just gives particularly him a power rush, because they see they can just keep doing it, because like I said before, that's just who they are. They weren't struggling with the bad problems, they were struggling to be good. So if you're uncomfortable, just say you're uncomfortable. I don't know. But like I said, like, it just, for me, definitely just processing the fact that what he did with his free will, he has to be accountable for. I don't understand why people say, oh, the woman should have chose better. My choices have nothing to do with what he does with his free will. Now, what I accept is definitely on me, but I'm not going to be accountable for what he chose to do with his free will, and how he decided to act, how he decided to treat people. Those were his choices that he made. I've never understood that. They be like, oh, you should have picked better. People lie. Like, I don't get that. Like I said, if anything, you should have like just not accepted certain stuff and seen if there were other options. That's definitely what I should have done. But this whole like pick better, it's just weird. It's like it takes all the accountability away from the person. Like, I don't know, like, I know this is like a side tangent, but it's like I see that a lot, where the accountability on men is garbage. Whether it means he leaves his family, it's like, oh, that's normal. If he doesn't raise his kids, oh, that's normal. You should have chose better. What does choosing better have to do with someone leaving their family, or like not wanting to raise their responsibility, their kid? And then people turn around and say men should have, it takes two. They should have equal rights to the parenting. It's like, You can't have sweet and bitter water. You can't advocate for, we're going to completely ignore what he did and just say the woman should have picked better, but then try to advocate for men having all this, that, and the other rights to certain stuff. Like, it's weird to me. It's kind of weird. I would think you would be scolding the men, like, hey, what are you doing? Right? Like, be your brother's keeper and advocate for your equal rights to certain stuff as a parent and as a father. But I don't think you can advocate for both, if that makes sense. But that's just like a side tangent. This whole pick better, like, has nothing to do with the fact that that kind of character in men just should not be there. And it shouldn't be there in women either, but for my situation, I have to say men for my situation. But yeah, so overall, um, I don't know. I don't know. It's just stuff like that that I think about, like just making sure that I can be a better person, that I change some things, because like I said, what I allow is on me. Um, and also just understanding whatever he does, he's guilty for. There are no bunk beds and coffins, and when we all go before God, God's not gonna say pick better. You know, when we go through our list of sins, that's not gonna be it. Like, oh, all these I told you so's, you know, like, I'm not gonna have to answer for that. He's still gonna have to answer for that. So as much as society tries to give him a way out, he's gonna have to go before God and deal with what he's accountable for. I'm gonna have to go before God for what I'm accountable for. But I don't know, but things are getting better and more normal, and I'm definitely way less stressed